What is going on, Amazing Race fans? We got a big show tonight, a lot of surprises, and we are going to review episode 8 of The Amazing Race. Joining me tonight, the one, the only, Calvert. How's it going, Calvert?
What's going on, everybody?
Also joining us tonight, the man, Goldberg. Goldberg, what's up?
You're lucky I'm here.
Goldberg is not pleased tonight. We're going to find out why a little later in the show. But first, we are down to 4 teams. Calvert, we finally had an elimination. May have not been the one we all have thought, but it was close.
And or wanted. Because I have buried them for at least 7 weeks straight. And they still find a way to stay alive. And I had to reread the rules again just to make sure, and this time it was in big bold print. Somebody has to actually win. Even if you make colossal mistakes in this episode, which almost every team did, somebody has to win this thing. So,
well, the other thing is, I'm guessing speed bumps are no longer at least being used at this point, because Aaron Natalia has not really had to do one.
Right, their punishment
for a while.
having to last and be a half hour behind.
That's true. I mean, they kind of, that's just kind of like a self-imposed speed bump, I guess.
Right.
So, all right. So we start this leg off from they flew from Figari to Thessaloniki, Macedonia, Greece.
Very good. You did better than I did last week with the pronunciation.
Yeah. That was not easy. So,
No.
So they kind of started off, they went to the Konstantinos olive grove. Teams had to search among the olive trees for their next clue. Now, I think we all kind of know why this is kind of funny, but Calvert, I'm going to let you give your thoughts at that this part.
Well, I mean, they could have simply used the ladder. Every team could have used a ladder, and only like 2 did. We'll just jump and grab it. It's just knowledge. We'll just jump and grab the clue. It'll be fine. No big deal. Easy peasy. And my team in particular, well, they had trouble figuring out who was taller, and still chose not to use the ladder and just used themselves, and luckily hurt themselves in the process.
They were ready for a good game of chicken fight, right?
Yeah, yes, they were. Yes, they were.
My team didn't use the ladder either. However, they were able to jump up and grab it on the second or third try.
Right.
So it didn't look as funny. But, some other teams took a few branches down with them as they were trying to get the clue. I kind of like this because it actually made the teams have to search for a clue instead of just being in a box, you know?
Yeah. And it was up, too. So
it was like on
there
the
was
highest
strategy
branch,
like,
so.
how are we going to get down?
Yep. I think the Amazing Race producers were like, "Oh, these trees are actually perfect height." So, and we'll sprinkle a couple ladders, you know.
Right.
We're not going to make it that obvious because we know some teams are just they're gonna totally miss the ladders, and most of them did. So if they planned it that way, it worked.
Right.
Goldberg did.
Well, I wanted to. I forgot to make a statement at the beginning of the show, because clearly your buddy, the Amazing Race historian, can't tell any of us apart.
That's right.
Or
the guy who's got the New York
accent
accent that's never lived in New York. How do you mistake him for Calvert, who's got a totally different accent? The Pittsburgh accent.
Wait a minute. I have a New York accent?
Yeah. I've been told I have a Wisconsin accent, but anybody that actually lives in Wisconsin, they don't hear it. So have fun with that.
Wait a sec. Goldberg's got objection here.
Go ahead.
Wait, you don't think you got a New York accent?
I had no idea.
Okay.
Breaking news.
Okay.
But either way, me and Calbert we're clearly mistaken in the previous review of last week.
Yes. I think the Tar story got you guys mixed up. I don't know how he could. So I'm going to dock him. No, I'm going to dock him some points.
Yeah, when you're only listening to 27 seconds of our episode, I guess maybe it's understandable.
He did say he has to listen more to our
Listen,
podcast.
If you're gonna do this, man, you got to do it right. Okay, you got to listen to every single podcast. Don't take the job if you can't really can't handle it.
Yeah. I'm gonna dock him some points right now. He should be docking himself some points. I hope he listens to this and dock himself some points for getting the names of our gracious hosts mixed up.
Calbert, did you see that?
I heard that. I did not see it.
He thought you really drove into Lulu and Lala. You really gave it to him last week.
I bet Calbert wishes he was drilling Lulu and Lala.
Yeah. That's not even my team.
Yeah. Okay, I'm sorry.
No, you're good.
This is my one joke for the night. That was a John Stockton type assist. I had to take it.
I'm gonna leave it all the rest of the shooting on for Lala to you, Goldberg, man. That's your team. So.
Not anymore.
Oh wait. Let's save the good stuff for last. Okay, come on. We can't spoil it right now. So
we may have a visual upload next week if all goes as expected next Wednesday.
Oh, that would be great. Hey, if that happens, I think we should do a live podcast from you at the Hollywood party.
That would be tough. Probably going to be pretty noisy in there.
Yeah, probably.
With people booing. At least me, I'm going to be booing Lulu and Lala.
Throwing drinks.
Another perfect season.
Get kicked out.
Will and James are there. I'll shake their hands. They did a hell of a job last season.
Sure.
All right, so first roadblock, one team member had to properly make 60 Dalma days to receive their next clue from Mariana. So,
who was a very tough judge. Very tough judge.
Yes, she was. You had to have the veins of the leaf a certain way, or else she was not going to give it to you.
Right. And of course, it took my team 3 attempts to figure that out.
Yeah,
I'll give her credit. Like, she at least didn't toss them all and went, you know what, screw this. You got to start all 60 over again. Like, she gave like half of them.
Yeah. And Kim didn't really struggle. She just had them presented the wrong way to kind of start it. So, yeah. But she quickly figured it out. I would say most teams did this without a real struggle, but I mean, the good thing about when your team struggled with Raquel, it was so early in the episode,
right?
So
right,
it wasn't too hard of a task, but I could definitely see where it may have tripped some people up.
Well, that just goes back to this entire season, just in general, is that none of the teams realistically have attention to detail. And that's one of those ones where attention to detail was really, really important. So you watch her make 10 and go, okay, I'm going to copy this.
Mm-hmm. And just to clarify on who did these tasks, Kim did it for Kim and Penn. Dusty did it for Dusty and Ryan. Raquel did it for Raquel and Kayla. I believe Aaron did it for Aaron and Natalia. He has a restaurant, so clearly he's going to do at least halfway decent. And I have no clue who did it for Lulu and Lala because they look the same. So we'll just go Lala.
Sounds right.
Right? Sound good? And just,
I'll ask.
I mean,
who did it.
What was it? What were they rolling in these plants? What was in the leaves. What were they rolling in the leaves? Some type of edible.
Yeah, it's some type of food of some kind.
Dolmade. What is a dolmade? Okay. All right. I'm on Wikipedia here. It says dolma is a family of stuffed dishes common. All right. Whatever. Screw that. Yeah, forget that. That's not what I'm looking for here. I want it quick and easy, and that was not quick and easy. So we're gonna move on.
I think Kim even said when she was doing hers, she was like, I have friends who are Greek, and when we go over to their house, like they make this for me.
Mm-hmm.
Which, okay, yeah, that's cool.
Yeah. Well, I think up to this point, this episode was kind of
Yeah.
But
you know what?
here's
You know what I
started-
wanted to ask you. I wanted to ask you guys. Do the eliminated teams? And I never really. This has nothing to do with this episode, but I never asked you guys this. Do the eliminated teams know who wins the entire season?
Yes.
And they can't
Because
say
they're waiting at the finish line. That's why.
Correct.
Right.
But I thought you were going to ask something else. I thought you were going to ask where do the eliminated teams go when they get eliminated?
Well, I'm sure
Well,
they're secluded
apparently-
until the season
Yes.
The season
Until it's over.
concludes.
Yeah.
But it's amazing that nobody. I mean, has there ever been a season where somebody slipped up and revealed who the winner was?
Gosh, they got contracts, so I don't think you want to.
that's
Yeah.
Amazing.
like contract too.
Yeah.
That says you cannot tell.
Especially with all the reviews that, like, everybody's doing a review on YouTube now, and
Yeah.
all the write-ups about each episode. I mean, it's amazing that. I mean, none of these people have even hinted at. You don't even have any idea. It's
Right.
they do
Like if you were
they
going to
really
do it, now would
yeah,
be,
they do it.
you would think it would
I
happen.
mean, the way Lulu and Lala have been reviewing every episode, I mean, I would have never thought they'd be eliminated before. Like, you'd think they'd go at least till the final. Like,
Spill the beans, like accidentally or something. Yeah.
if you're going to sit there and review every episode, you better be a part of every single episode. So sit on the sidelines now.
That's a good point. Like the top three probably should only have their own
Right.
podcast, right?
Yeah, they're the only ones who witnessed every single leg.
They actually have stories.
Yeah. What are Lulu and Lala going to say about next episode?
We had fun.
The view from the hotel was tremendous.
At least we got to. Well, I don't even know who said it either, but one of them said on the match, she was like, well, at least I got to go to places I never thought I'd go to and countries I'd never go to. I was just happy to be here.
Yeah.
God.
Goldberg does not like that.
Sorry.
I don't
like that.
I don't like the loser speech. If I'm crossing that finish line and I'm out, I'm devastated.
Well,
I'm
they
absolutely devastated.
They
Phil.
did jump into the water and got even Phil to go. Well, that was a unique way to end their run.
Right.
That was in a while.
They jumped in.
I'm gonna say, if I'm at that point, I would say, Phil, I got to be honest with you, I'm absolutely devastated. I mean, I expected to win this whole thing, so pretty pissed. And I mean, it's embarrassing that Raquel and Kayla are still in it, and I'm out. I mean, Aaron and Natalia, sorry, and I'm out. You're losing to Aaron and Natalia. I mean, just I don't even know what to say.
Well, they screwed up colossally, and we're going to go over that right now because this is where the episode just absolutely derailed for Lulu and Lala right here.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So they had to go to Mamo's Katina stand. All right, so here's the first part. They could not find this place. And Calbert, what was the whole reason they could not find this place? They went, so we know they found Phil at this point.
Correct.
So they took a wrong turn somewhere.
Correct.
And they found Phil.
And went, oh, we didn't finish it. Now, granted, they at least admitted that, hey, we didn't finish. And Phil was like, well, at least know where the mat is now. And then everything went downhill from there because then they couldn't find where they needed to go.
Correct.
To finish it so they could see Phil at the end and actually continue racing and not be where they're at right now, which is watching it with the rest of us. And, spelling is hard because that's the next thing they had to do. And they were not the only team that had trouble spelling it.
Yes,
but
we're going to go over that.
And spelling was really in their repertoire. Go ahead.
Correct. They had to go to Mamo's Katina stand, and teams had to order the dish of the day from Dimitra, and they had to spell the dish of the day, which was souvlaki, then eat it before finding the location. Souvlaki, spell its name, then eat it before finding the location of their next clue, which was on the wrapper, St. George Church, Heraclea. So, all right, so let's talk. So Kim and Penn, they did it. They ate it, whatever. They threw away the wrapper. They spelt it right the first time. Okay, right. So Kim and Penn spelled it right. Took them a little bit, but, Penn, he's like, oh, wait, the wrapper, So they finally open the garbage, and then they see the wrapper, and then, okay, voila, they finally figured it out. That's when Dusty and Ryan come there. They spell it correctly. They eat it. But I believe they did this. No, they found it right away that it was on the wrapper. Yeah, it took a little bit, but yeah, they finally
that wasn't their struggle. That wasn't their struggle point. Their struggle point would come up in the next.
Yes, that was a bit later. Yep. So they got it. Then the third team to arrive was Aaron and Natalia. However, they did not know how to spell souvlaki. They had to go across. It seemed like they went a far distance just to come, just to figure it out. And then meanwhile, Raquel and Kayla came there while Aaron and Natalia were trying to ask somebody how to spell souvlaki. Raquel and Kayla could not spell it either, correct? They had to ask somebody too, but it seemed like it was closer, correct? Or am I off on that?
Little off, but not by much. They spelled it correctly. They had trouble because they did the exact same thing that Kim Penn did, which was they threw the clue away. They threw it away and went, it's probably on the wrapper.
Okay, so they did the same thing Kim and Penn did. Okay, that makes sense. But they did pass Aaron and Natalia at this point, right?
Correct.
This is where they passed them.
Aaron, to me, it looked like Aaron and Natalia went across town to try and spell this word. I don't think that's probably what they did, but it's sure the way they edited it sure looked like it was. Like they must have found like the only three people in the town originally that when they were trying to spell the word, they figured out. But that wasn't nearly as bad as Goldberg's team. I mean, that was bad. Goldberg's team was even worse.
Now did Aaron and Natalia eat? Did they had some trouble, right? I mean, they had obviously trouble about it.
Yeah. So the first thing they did wrong was they spelled it wrong.
Correct.
When they eventually spelled it correctly, they did the same thing that everybody else was doing, which was they threw the paper away, realized they threw the paper away, went, okay, this is the word, right? And she was like, yes, that's the word. And she did this. This wouldn't be the first time she said it. Yes, that is today special. Oh, on the paper. Okay. So it took them probably realistically, I'm going to guess maybe 20, 25 minutes to figure out that they threw the paper away, which still wasn't as bad as what Lulu and Lala did. And that's still bad.
Was Aaron and Natalia gone before Lulu and Lala were there? I thought, was Aaron and Natalia just leaving?
They were just leaving by the time.
Yes. Lulu and Lala came.
Yeah.
So, in my opinion, the mistake of going to Phil before they did this by accident, that was not the death sentence. No. This was the death sentence right here. Okay. So they get the clue. They spell souvlaki. Now, did they spell it? Did they spell it correctly?
No, they did not. They spelled it first.
Okay.
Then they got the spelling. Then they asked somebody. They got the spelling correct this time. They ate it, threw the paper away, didn't
So
realize.
you can't use Google, but you can ask somebody to Google it for you.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
That's
Correct.
My team used a like a little notebook and a pencil, and that's how they wrote it out.
Mm-hmm.
So they were like, okay, it's this. Now, so the clue is in the garbage can. I know this sounds familiar. That should be the title of this episode. The clue is in the garbage can. Lulu and Lala have not realized that the clue is in the garbage can. So they go, this is the word, right? And the lady goes, yes. Okay, make me another one.
Yes.
So they eat
unbelievable.
Two of them. They
Two of them.
ate two of them. The only team to eat two of them. And then not only that, obviously the second one took way longer than the first one. They're about to throw up. I mean, they were gagging the whole time. I think one of them was crying. Well, like, she had tears in her eyes because she was about to throw up.
Right.
It was just this was the death sentence right here. I mean, it was.
I mean, I'll give the clue person credit. Like, she was like, "You're doing without really saying it. You're doing everything right. You just haven't looked in the right spot. Sure, I'll make you another one." And like you could tell, like if the team spelled it wrong, because she did this for Aaron and Talia too. When they spelled it wrong, she's like, "Well, screw it. I'm just gonna make it." They'll figure out that they spelled it wrong, and then I'll give it to them. And then she even helped them out by putting the piece of paper, which had the clue on it, on the front side. So when you were done eating the sandwich, you'd go, "Oh, that's the clue." Because usually what was happening is that the teams were throwing it away. The clue was on the back side of the piece of paper. Nobody realized it until they threw it away. So she put the clue on the front side. So like when you're eating it, you go, "Oh, that's the clue." Okay, cool. So, go ahead.
Yeah. So this was just, I mean, they finally, after eating two of them and almost throwing up, and I don't know how long that would have taken them, probably quite a bit, 45 minutes maybe.
Sure, because
they finally get it. So then,
right.
So then for the second roadblock, they had to go to the, obviously they had to go to the St. George Church, Heraclea or whatever. And the team member who did not perform the previous roadblock had to listen to a 15-minute sermon from a Greek Orthodox priest that would list facts about 10 saints and would then be asked 5 questions by a vendor with saint icons. Racers had to pick the correct icons to receive their next clue. The questions were, which saint was put to death on Christmas Day, December 25th? It was Saint Anastasia. The second question was, which saint's name is derived from the Greek word for peace? That would have been Saint Irene. Number 3, which is the patron saint of travelers? That would have been Saint Christopher. 4th question would have been, which saint lived in an almond tree for 3 years? That would have been Saint David of Thessaloniki. And the 5th question was, which saint served in the Roman army under the Emperor Decius? That would have been Saint Mercurius. So, Penn, with his ADHD, he got it right away.
And still talk to the priest, which you weren't allowed to do, which we found that out too. Because I was under the impression when this first started, I'm like, okay, I would have done exactly what I can't remember if it was Ryan or Dusty. We're Dusty. It was Dusty.
No, Ryan did the sermon.
Ryan did. That's right, Ryan. That's right. Where Ryan just went, okay, I've heard 5. I'll give this 20. That was my interpretation. I didn't understand that you had to sit, or I'm sorry, well, some of them sat, a couple of them stood. You had to stand there and actually listen to the entire presentation.
Yes.
So
to me, it almost looked like Ryan wasn't even paying attention.
Yeah.
But maybe that's just the way he listens. Like he was like literally the guy's talking in front of him and he's got his body positioned sideways, like he's staring off into the sun. But clearly that must have been how he listened. He almost walked away again the second time.
Until the priest said,
we got more.
We got more. Right? Yep. Oh, wait. And then he went, oh, wait, there's more.
Mm-hmm.
'Cause my team almost did the same thing. My team almost walked away, and
Correct.
not nearly as bad as Ryan and Dusty, because
Correct.
Ryan almost went, but like that was still pretty bad.
Yeah. Yeah, and I mean Ryan, I mean he said that the way Dusty had it sound is they had the perfect tasks for them because Ryan was big into history.
Right.
Which, you could be big in the history and still get this wrong, obviously.
Right.
But yeah, so after that, Ryan got the clue first. However, Raquel and Kayla basically drove straight to the pit stop, whereas Ryan and Dusty had to ask for directions.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where Raquel and Kayla come in second and Ryan and Dusty come in third there. So that was a big mistake. I don't know if it was a big mistake, but it was a key mistake. Because Raquel and Kayla, I guess, whether it be luck or whether they knew where they were going, were able to just go straight through, whereas Ryan and Dusty took a long time to ask for directions. So that was one big switch. So Raquel and Kayla almost had the leg Ryan and Dusty had when they started out last, and then came back and passed a bunch of teams to take second. So that was pretty impressive. I gotta hand it to your team there, Goldberg. I mean Calbert. Oh, who am I? The Tar historian?
Who's in grade
That was
school?
a low blow.
So obviously, Natalia did the task for Aaron and Natalia's team. I believe Natalia took 2 or 3 turns, if I'm not mistaken.
I believe that's right. I think it was sure.
And then I don't think Lulu and Lala see Aaron and Natalia there at all? I don't think they did, correct?
No.
Okay.
No, but they got it right away.
They did.
I think
They got it on the first crack.
I think they got there like a day later.
20 souvlaki's later.
Convenient editing made it look
Right.
better.
They only made it sound like they ate 2, but really they ate 20.
Right.
So, but yes, Lulu and Lala did get this the first try. So they did really good on these roadblocks for whatever reason. They could not, everything in between tripped them up. So, yeah, then we got our place standings for this episode. First was Kim and Penn. Second was Raquel and Kayla. Third was Ryan and Dusty. Fourth was Aaron and Natalia. And coming in last, Lulu and Lala, taking a dive into wherever they were at, whatever body of water that was, taking last. So, Goldberg, that was the episode. The floor is yours, my friend. I know you got some shoots to get off your chest, so let's hear it.
Well, first off, I want to say you two screwed me by not letting me repick. Because I asked in advance, I just the writing was on the wall for this elimination. Could just see it coming. They've been trending downward. They had a nice 2-week run. About, I don't know, who knows, maybe 3 Aaron and Natalia eliminations ago. They had a nice run. And there was I think they come in second once, right? Didn't they come in second? And then the episode where they screwed up the kayak, they really should have been a top 3 team in that episode as well. And that was kind of the beginning of the downfall for them. Since then, they completely fell apart. I mean, they lost their sense of direction. They were stopping. It wasn't a good last few episodes for them. However, and you two really screwed me on that one.
Yeah, you were right. You ended up being right.
Well, you know what? Let me ask you guys a question real quick. Is this upcoming episode the least interesting episode in the history of The Amazing Race?
Yeah. The one that's coming up, or the one we just watched?
No. One that's coming up. Is there any less anticipation knowing we know damn well who's going out?
I don't know about that.
I don't
How
know.
we've reached the point now where these top 3 teams, none of them have been close to being eliminated,
You would think, yes, you
right?
would
Not
think,
one of them
right?
has even been borderline. They tried to fool us into thinking Ryan and Dusty were going to be eliminated when they easily surpassed um, what's the couple that got eliminated, the teachers, the husband and wife.
Oh,
The guy
Akbar
who,
and Sherry.
yeah,
Yeah,
Akbar and Sherry.
yeah.
I mean, they tried to fool us. That episode didn't work. Clearly, these 3 have been the top 3 teams now the entire season. And I was hesitant to include Calvert's team in there, Raquel and Caleb, but they're clearly a top 3 team, like, and they have been for a while.
I had them at number 4 or 5. I can't remember preseason ranked. I had them at 4 or 5. But I will say, this next episode, granted, I think it's going to be non-elimination, but I think it's
How could that
huge
be?
for one thing. Well, I think it's not elimination because we're going to get a 2-hour finale.
So you think they can't? You think they can't go an entire finale without eliminating a team?
I don't think they're going to bring 3 teams to do 2 legs. I think it's 3 teams to the go home USA leg.
Calvert, what do you
That's
think?
what I think.
It's unlikely. I mean,
You think
historically,
Aaron and Natalia are going to skate by again?
I do. Yeah.
I think they get one more week. I can't believe I'm saying this. Doesn't mean I have them any higher in my power ranking, but I believe that they will not be eliminated. I think they could finish in the top 3 this week, which would make them non-eliminated. So somebody's going to finish in 4th. I could clearly see Ryan and Dusty finish in 4th. I'm just using that as an example. I don't know anything, but they could clearly finish in 4th. And because I agree with Hurls, I don't think there's going to be an elimination this week. So the order changes slightly, for
Well,
one.
I mean, it's huge for positioning this week.
Yeah.
I think you want to definitely try to get at least 1st or 2nd.
Right.
Because this is going to give you, I mean, in a normal setting, okay, so this, you want to have a good standing in the penultimate leg, but we know the penultimate leg sometimes can be harder than the finale leg. So
it can.
Yeah, I'm thinking of the season with the race car drivers. Remember when they had to walk up that street and get that puzzle? That I thought that was harder than the actual finale that they had that season. So
historically, I'd have to go all the way back, but I think it's only happened like once where they have had like 4 teams try to race in the finale.
Yes, it wasn't often.
So it generally doesn't happen, but trust me.
Well, let's go back to last year. Let's even go back to last year because then Goldberg will even know what we're talking about. Yep. The Philippines leg where they were playing the songs.
Yep.
That was tougher than anything they did in the finale.
Yep. Right.
I mean, wouldn't you agree, Goldberg?
Which one?
Last year in the penultimate leg, the episode before the finale, where they had to remember the songs that were played throughout the season, and then they had to put them in the correct order. Yeah. I mean, that was tougher than anything that happened in the finale.
Oh, the finale was a breeze.
Yeah, exactly. So obviously everybody teamed up on
D'Angelo,
Gary and D'Angelo, but
right,
but I think that was the tougher leg. So I think that you want to have a really good leg this upcoming episode because of if you get a tough puzzle challenge, you want to have more time to do it.
And we've seen how these teams do it just this season alone. We've seen what these teams do when it comes to puzzles. It's not right. Forte, for example, I'll just use them as I'm not pounding on them, but I'm using them as an example. They did have trouble in the very first leg with trying to create the United Kingdom flag. So
yes, that is true. We could have something totally like we would have never expected.
Right.
So, Goldberg, did you have any other shoots that you wanted to get off your chest, or no? Were you good? I thought you had 3.
Well, my first was to the TAR historian, mixing me and Calvert
Okay.
up. So
That's right. Okay, they were just kind of jumbled up into.
my
Okay.
second really was to you two for screwing me over,
Right.
and then my third,
No
my third
chance. The Goldberg magic is dead.
Okay, I'll remember that. I'll remember that next season when the team you pick gets eliminated for an injury or something, and then you want to repick. I'm gonna remember that. If we go through another pandemic,
Right.
this team doesn't come back.
Yeah. Oh man. Gosh, I hope that don't happen again.
But
No.
yeah, I mean,
Let's face
really
it, though, Goldberg. Let's face
What?
it. You really think Lulu and Lala would have outlasted either one of our original picked teams?
No.
I don't really see them. I mean, if we're holding true to the first three episodes, I don't see them beating Anthony.
I think Anthony and Spencer were probably a top 3 team in the end.
I think so too.
Or I guess you should say top 4 with the 3 that are there right now. And I also think Connie and was it Sam?
Yes.
I think they were probably a top 5 team, honestly.
I agree.
We only saw 2 legs, but
Calvert, here's a good question for you.
They would have been long gone by now.
What team do you think is a better team from the 2 you picked? Connie and Sam or Raquel and Kayla?
Oh, Connie and Sam are a better team. Okay. I would, I mean, to Goldberg's example, I would feel a heck of a lot more confident with I would say, like a over 50% chance that if Connie and Sam are still in it, I think they'd have a chance of winning.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, with Raquel and Kayla right now, it's 50-50, and that's just because
it's actually 33.
Well, technically true, yes, but my percentage for Raquel and Kayla, even though they're still in it and they are my team, I don't feel as confident as I would have. But
why did you pick them over Kim and Penn?
I just figured girls. I don't know. Having a girl team win would be all right.
So you're going with the season-long narrative of a girl team winning.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's not. I mean, anything can happen at those finales.
Yeah, and now look at those. I mean, I look dumb. I know we haven't done our power rankings yet, but I mean, Kim Penn have won 3 weeks in a row. They must something.
I mean, listen, I should have switched to them when I had the chance. I definitely should have.
Right. You had to be loyal, Mr. Loyal.
And I was surprised. I mean, I was surprised that because you picked first, Hurls. You took Ryan and Dusty, which was a no-brainer at the time.
Yes.
But
well, I mean, I wanted to keep it as close to Anthony and Spencer as possible, too.
I thought for sure Calvert was going to take Kim and Penn after that.
I was thinking about them.
Well, that's the thing, though. I mean, those first 3 episodes, like, Penn is still in the station trying to figure out whether or not he has the clue in his hand or not. You know? I mean,
I agree. And save it because we got a lot of things in our power rankings to talk about and potential future. So Goldberg has to watch the next 2 weeks without a team to root for here. And I know that feeling.
I was going to say, are you going to watch? Because I don't know.
Oh, you sure as hell ain't watching AEW, I can tell you that.
I will definitely watch the finale this week. I'm afraid to say I think it's just so obvious if it is an elimination leg. Oh my God! I mean, I'm gonna watch. I enjoy the show, but
yeah, it's not elimination. There's no way it's gonna be elimination. And if I'm wrong,
right, I wouldn't touch AEW with a 10-foot pole. So,
we got it. I've already packed and have the tickets for Aaron and Natalia to go back to Detroit. I've got the tickets waiting for them. They got to go. I got to watch them leave.
Yeah, those tickets have expired like 3 times.
This is true.
So, all right. Let's rank this episode. Not very good. I'll start it. I'm going to say it was a 5 out of 10. The only thing that saved it was Lala and Lulu eating 20 souvlaki's. Calvert, what would you rank this episode here?
I'll give it a 6 out of 10 just because there was food involved and some history. That was I thought the history.
That's true. That's true.
But yeah, I mean, it's not I won't remember this episode in 6 months.
I will.
Goldberg, obviously you're gonna rank this a 2 out of 10, I'm guessing.
Nah, this is a 1. This is a 1 out of 10.
1. There you go.
This episode was terrible. Well, we also knew about halfway through who was going to be eliminated. So.
Yeah, that's true.
And Aaron and Natalia gave you an opportunity, and they went the wrong direction. We're trying to give you a bone.
I mean, there was a little drama in the beginning with Raquel and Kayla.
Yeah.
But they recovered pretty quick.
Yeah.
Even passing my team. So
here's my plan for next Wednesday for the finale. If I go to this thing, I'm gonna fake being a press guy. I work for a press. And I'm
amazing reviews.
I'm gonna go around interviewing people.
Okay.
I'm gonna interview the racers. How does it feel, Lulu and Lala, to lose to Aaron and Natalia?
Oh my gosh. Oh man, we have no chance of getting Lulu and Lala on this show, or Aaron and Natalia ever to come on the show. And how's the sisters from last year we were supposed to have on the show?
Yeah, maybe they'll be there.
All right, there's our chance. Okay, power rankings time. I want Goldberg to start off this week. Down to 4 teams. It's probably going to be chalk, but let's hear it anyway. Who's your fourth place?
I don't. I mean, obviously Aaron and Natalia. They're my 13th place team.
Is that all you got to say about Aaron and Natalia?
What more is there to be said? Go home.
You know what? You would have been better off picking them.
Oh,
they're going to be gone. They're going to be gone.
Right decision. He made the right decision.
It wouldn't make a difference. But yes, at this point in time, until 48 hours from now, yeah, I would have been better off picking them.
All right, Calvert, who's your 4th place team?
It's Aaron and Natalia, and just go home. Go home now. Detroit misses you.
They're not going home.
Go home. Your bed misses you.
They're going.
You can get a compass on the way home.
You got 120 more minutes of Aaron and Natalia at the very least.
You know what, Earls? Before you say can I change my last place team?
Go ahead.
Earls and Calvert are last for not letting me fucking switch. How dare you two? I gave you both a redo.
And we
I hope Kim and Penn pull this thing off. That's the only reason I'm watching the finale.
Hey, you know what? That's the thing. Like, you can by all means, if Kim and Penn win this entire thing, you can make fun of both of our teams when both of our teams get eliminated.
Right.
And, I mean, Penn, the way this guy has been the last few episodes, I mean, he's the best racer right now in the race.
Yeah.
I like this. No, I do like this because Goldberg sounds exactly how I was last season when Iswar and Apata got eliminated. So I felt betrayed by both of you, and you guys didn't even really do anything except for
how?
Because everybody ganged up on Iswar and Apata.
Right.
Well, yeah, but you just naturally picked a bad team.
How do you think my team was fairly close, and they got to stand there while the other team screwed them over.
Right. Yeah. They got to see it happen right in front of their face.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Hurls. Let's hear your
all right, number 4 is Aaron and Natalia. But I'm going to say this with a disclaimer. There is a small percentage this team makes it to the finale.
Well, yeah,
I mean,
there is 4 teams left. They technically have a chance.
There is, and I'm saying you guys are giving them 0. I'm saying they have more than a 0% chance to make it to the finale because what? Okay, you're talking about editing, right?
Yeah.
They keep saying how many times they got 9 lives, So Why wouldn't that be a storyline? I know they're not going to win it.
They couldn't edit that thing enough for me to be fooled into thinking that that team is going to make a final. There's no editing possible. If they showed the other three teams getting in a car accident next week, I wouldn't believe it.
Flabbergasted. If one of the worst teams, and I still stand by this, if one of the worst teams in Amazing Race history, and they're freaking close to the top, if they win the entire thing,
that would be one of the biggest upsets, probably since Will and James.
Kind of stupid. What kind of joke is that? This is a solid performance from episode 1 to whatever 11.
True.
Will and James ran it.
They did. They played the manipulation game to an A, and that's the skill that I need to start. I guess understanding, because it happens a lot more than Brooke and Scott. You remember that season, Calvert?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Same thing. Yep. Played the manipulation game and used it to their advantage. So,
right.
Or as he called it, the social game. So,
right.
I know. I got to start respecting teams that do that skill, because clearly it works.
Mm-hmm.
So Will and James just used the volleyballers all the way to the finish line. I mean. Okay. All right. Number 3 here. Number 3. Let's go Goldberg. This is where it gets interesting.
Does it?
Am I up?
Yes, you are.
I'm going Ryan and Dusty. Number 3. I think they've been.
Okay.
I think they. I'm not saying that. I mean, they've been horrible, but I think they've been over the last few weeks. I think they've been the third best team. For that reason alone, fair. I'm putting them 3rd.
That's fair. Calvert, number 3.
It's Ryan and Dusty for me as well. That was a little concerning for me to watch Ryan struggle with with being a history buff. Watch him struggle with that a little bit, but to Goldberg's point, like it's a week to week power ranking, and they've been 3rd for at least 2 of them, so they're beating themselves, but it's not really costing them because Aaron and Natalia are so bad. But yeah, it's Ryan Dusty for me at 3.
All right, so I'm going to get my number 3, but I'm going to propose a question to you two. Are you two on crack right now?
Yes, but I don't know what that has to do with anything.
I mean, it's a holiday.
All right. I'm going to do a shoot promo now. How many first place finishes has Raquel and Kayla had? Just correct me if I'm wrong here. Okay. All right. Wait, Calvert, can you say it just a little louder so our
that would be 0.
Okay. Thank you. All right. Yes, Ryan and Dusty. 3 third place finishes. I understand. However, for me to put Raquel and Kayla above them, they got to take a first place here. They haven't proven to me that they can take a first place. Now, I know what you're saying. Season 27, the team that never won first place finally won first place at the end of when it mattered. So, could they be that team? Possibly. I'm just not seeing it. Now, okay, Raquel and Kayla, yes, they've had some good weeks. They passed Ryan and Dusty. Ryan and Dusty definitely made mistakes. They've made mistakes probably last 3 episodes, and they've been kind of vulnerable. So there's definitely some. It's getting a little rocky. However, I think Raquel and Kayla, I think they're gonna start hitting some rocky waters coming up here. It's all about momentum, and I think. And I'm going to save it. But my number 3 team right now is Raquel and Kayla, because it's close. It is closer than it was. But they got to prove to me that they can win first before I put them ahead of Ryan and Dusty.
It's sad. You're harping on those first place finishes from, it seems an eternity ago. Get over it. They won nothing.
All right, Goldberg, number 2.
Ryan and Dust. I mean, I'm sorry.
Oh,
Raquel.
Oh!
Wait, are you sure? You sure?
Raquel
No.
and Kayla,
Okay.
and it's only because number one is. I mean, we got to give it up to. I'll get there when I get there, but
Right,
Yeah,
Raquel and
Raquel
Kayla. No,
and
explain
Kayla.
yourself. What?
they
Okay,
have
you
to
like
be number two at this point because they finished second. Or is this two in a row or three in a row?
three times.
Okay, so we got to go. A little recency bias here, and we got to put them. They finished third twice in a row. Ryan and Dusty have, second twice, three times in a row, and now Ryan and Dusty finished third three times in a row. Correct?
Mm-hmm.
You are correct.
Correct.
So we got to go with the trend. I mean, the trend has Raquel and Kayla second, Ryan and Dusty third. I mean, it doesn't matter if they finish first. How many times? I mean, weeks ago before the pandemic. I mean, who gives a shit what happened before? We gotta focus on now. And right now, Raquel and Kayla are clearly they've been finishing second. So I put them second.
All right. Yeah. No. Okay. Calbert, who's your number two here? Because
Well, in defense of my own team, I mean, you're right. Like it's so Raquel and Kayla are my number two. You are correct. They technically haven't finished in first yet, but they're nowhere near the bottom. They're not Aaron and Natalia bad.
no.
Or Lulu and Lala. That's the last one, Goldberg, I swear. They're not that bad. I mean, so I think they can win a leg. I don't know which one, but they can win a leg. And so, yes. Do they make mistakes? Of course they do. Attention to detail is really important. They now know who's the taller of the two of them. They now know how to fold a leaf with food properly and make sure that it's done right. So Raquel and Kayla from here too. I think they win a leg. I don't know which one, but I think they win a leg.
Okay. Well, I obviously was kidding with the crack. Are you guys on crack?
Yep.
It's not that.
Right.
Now, if you put Aaron and Natalia, yes, I would have to question you, but yeah, no. Valid point. All right, Goldberg, number one. Give it to us because we all have the same number one.
Number one?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Penn. That's it.
Just Penn.
Okay.
This guy, man, give it up because he is the GOAT. Not only is he the number one player, if we were doing player power rankings, the guy's unreal. Is there anything he can't do?
Not much.
The guy can speak any language.
Yep.
He's in shape for his age, which is not even that old in general.
Right.
I mean, he's in shape. He's really good, and he's a supportive partner. I mean, there's no weaknesses in this guy's game. The only weakness may come is if they have some kind of trouble, but she's in shape too. I mean, I don't really see any reason why. They're the smartest team left. They're in shape. And this guy knows everything. So for me, they're an easy number one right now. And I think if you were giving percentages on, percentages that they win the thing, I think it's like 70% right now that they're going to win.
Calbert, number one.
Number one is Kim Penn. I'd like to apologize for not taking them. Yes, it's recency bias, and they've won 3 weeks in a row, and they've done it really, really well. One of the things we didn't mention in the preach portion of the episode was that Penn figured out that you didn't necessarily have to take the pictures off of the table. You could take them from anywhere. So like there were some that were in a little container and on the ground. He picked them up and put them in order. I think if it was required for him to do all 15, he probably could have done all 15. I really honestly believe that. And so Goldberg's exactly right. They're really good. They don't really have a whole lot of weaknesses. I think the fact that he can speak multiple languages is will probably come down and be a huge factor as we get closer to the end. So I'm sorry I didn't take them. I probably should have. But yeah, they're one, and I would say they're the favorite going in.
All right. My number one is Kim and Penn. Clearly, the guy's got a superpower when it comes to this thing, as he can remember everything. However, and we'll get to that. I'm just going to leave it at that for now. Let's talk future. Kim and Penn are my number one.
Mm-hmm.
Here's my question to you guys. Do you think Kim and Penn are just going to take 1-1-1-1 for the next 3 weeks? Or do you see something getting in their way? Because I don't think they're taking 1-1-1. They're due for a slump here.
Yeah, I think Ryan and Dusty or Raquel and Kayla could finish first.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's not another possibility. This is where the fact that, you know, the first two teams leave almost at the same time, essentially. You know, it's very possible that Raquel and Kayla could pass Kim and Penn at a point and maybe finish, or, you know, Ryan and Dusty crush a leg, and then, you know, they're right back on top.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know what it is. I just have a feeling like they could win the next 2 legs, but then come finale time, I don't know. Let's say they sweep the next 3. Wouldn't that be kind of anticlimactic? Like, don't you want to see a little drama with them? Everything's coming a little too easy for them right now.
I'd be all right with a sprint to the mat. That we haven't really seen that. Like, that's the other thing too, because Kim and Penn are crushing it like grapes. There's really nothing there. Like, they are pretty much having a picnic, waiting for other teams to finish, you know, second and third.
Yeah. Well, we had once, I wouldn't even call it a sprint, with Sherry and Akbar and Raquel and Kayla, but
true.
I don't know. I don't know what it is. I think Kim and Penn are really good, but I'm not going to call them like some of the best racing teams I've ever seen, because I don't know what it is. If they win 2 more, I'll start putting them in that category. But for now, I don't know what's going to.
How often we've seen a finale where a team is in first place and they don't necessarily win it all.
Correct.
It's one little trip up, one little, you know, it's putting a puzzle together. Or, you know, putting a plane together from a couple seasons ago.
Yeah.
I mean, so
there's something about it. Like, I don't want to be super hot, like, you know, like the last 5 episodes. I want to get hot maybe the episode before, and then take the, you know, I want to be on a good momentum going into the finale, obviously, but I just think they're peaking a little too early. That's all I'm going to say.
Right.
So, all right. I had another thought, but that was about a couple beers ago. So, where are we going next week, Calvert?
We're still in Greece.
Okay. Goldberg, since you don't have a horse in the race.
Shut up.
He's not going to do the podcast next year now.
I should have a horse in the race, and you know what? Neither one of you should.
It's just going to be Rose and I again, like always.
Sitting on the couch for 7 weeks.
Goldberg. So Goldberg, what's your take? Is Kim and Penn taking this to the house and winning it all?
Well, I hope they do, to shut both of you up. But I personally, I actually think Kim and Penn are going to come in first again next week. And is there going to be, if the finale is 2 hours, is there going to be 2 finishes in that episode, you think?
So I think we're staying in Greece for 9, but 10's going to have a different country. So that's going to be basically like a regular, you know, normal non-finale episode, but I think it's going to have a hard puzzle. And then the finale, we'll have 3 teams.
Well, all in all, I think Kim and Penn are going to come in first until the finale, and I actually think Calvert's team is going to win. I don't know why.
That definitely could happen.
I can tell you where they go after Greece. If you would like to know, I'm not going to make you guys guess. It's Portugal. So they go from Greece to Portugal in leg 10. So yes, they finish up in Greece this week. They go from Greece to Portugal to start the month of March, and then they go from Portugal to the United States for leg 11, which will be last part. Yep. So there you go.
Okay, Portugal.
Yes, sir.
Portugal, is that South America? No. Is that still Europe?
I think it's South America.
Okay, so we are going to a South American country.
It's actually it's Southern Europe. So.
Oh, it is. Is it next to Spain, right?
Yeah. Yes. It's next to
Okay. Okay. All right. So we're staying in Europe. I got a little excited.
I thought it was South America.
It's pretty close.
I see. I see it's in Europe. But,
wow, I really thought I don't know why I thought that. I'm thinking of something. Interesting. Okay. But okay, so they're going to Portugal. All right, and then Los Angeles. So
not this week, but the following week.
But the following week. Okay, we're staying in Greece though for this.
Leg 9 is in Greece.
Okay. Well, obviously, like I said, I think it's a non-elim this week. It's the last non-elim of the season. Yay! But so this is going to be an interesting episode. We already see Dusty freaking out, right? We did see him freaking out in the. Okay, so that's a telling sign.
There was smashing of plates, which that's a great thing, and I think you have to stay open when you do it.
Yes.
So he was, but they were like in some type of stairwell looking thing outside. I don't exactly know. Like it kind of looked like an outdoor plaza looking thing, almost like a stadium kind of deal.
Sure.
Yeah, he was not a happy camper. I don't know what it has to do with, but he's not happy.
So this is like a challenge, like a random challenge, kind of like wherever you find it, you find it.
I don't know if it's a roadblock or don't know anything about that, but yeah.
I'm guessing it's a roadblock because he's got, I think. So here's what the tally of the performed roadblocks are for the remaining teams. Kim and Penn has 5 roadblocks performed. Kim has 3. So keep that in mind. She's going to have to do some. Raquel's got 5. Kayla's got 3. I don't really think it's going to matter. Ryan has 5. Dusty has 3. So we know Dusty's kind of the hothead of the group. So
how many does Lulu have?
Lulu and Lala, they had 4 apiece.
Oh, well, at least they shared.
Yep. Aaron and Natalia has 4 apiece as well.
But that goes back to your theory for just half a second. I mean, you could be right then. If Kim has to do it this week,
that could hurt him.
First.
Yep, that could hurt him.
She's pretty good too.
She is.
Not bad.
But to Earl's point, like it's theoretically possible that if Earl's is right, they could sweep the rest of it. But if you're gonna get them when Kim's doing one.
Yes, exactly. That's kind of what I'm thinking. So she's gonna at least have to do at least one more, maybe even 2 more. I don't know. There was a point when the Amazing Race you had to do 6 apiece. I don't know if they kept doing that or not, but yeah, the rules kind of change every season. So
right.
So, all right. Well, that's all we got this week. Any final words from the peanut gallery known as Goldberg?
Oh yeah, let's go Kim and Penn.
All right, the bandwagon has opened up, folks. Calvert, final words?
You got your own card to yourself there, man. It's all on you. It's been a good season so far, and now we'll get to see how it finishes up in Greece this week. That should be fun.
All right, and the only final words I got to say is Jawan Howard. We are out. Have a good night.